Okay, so Function Health has one of the best B2B healthcare websites that I have seen in such a long time. But if you are a fan of the channel, you know that I like breaking things down into things that are attainable. So if something's good, what makes it good? What are the things that we can actually take away and implement into our clients' sites? So today in this video, you and I are going to break down what Function Health does well, what makes them the gold standard, and why is everyone all of a sudden want to look like them? Why are they trendsetters? Also, at the end, you're going to see one or two things that they could actually improve on. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Andy. I'm the founder at MMG Studio here in Columbus, Ohio. We are a Webflow and SEO agency, and I look at probably hundreds of websites every single week. So I'd like to think that I have a good basis of reference to make these recommendations for Function. So without further ado, let's jump on in. Okay, so one super obvious thing that Function clearly does very well is social proof. And our philosophy on social proof is you want to scatter it and make it overwhelmingly obvious that you are who you say you are. So right here, 160 plus lab tests. Mark Hyman, MD, the founder, genius. Just this guy's face is a high social proof trust signal. Also, this section right here, small snippeted high testimonial quotes from high status individuals in your space, both male and female. This is like the ultimate trust gaining asset, this section right here. Influential companies and influential people all in one section. And not only that, do they double down on it with real video testimonials from other trustworthy names in the space. What we see a lot of brands do is when it comes to social proof, they always think, hey, the more, the better. And that's actually not true. You want to have very short lines. And you want to make it very brief and powerful. And again, to round it all out, here at the bottom of the homepage, they have a plethora of influential names with all of these certifications. There is no denying at this point that there is a team of powerhouses behind this product. I actually think because their social proof is such a big differentiator, I would recommend they have more of it here above the fold. Yeah, sure, these stats are compelling. At the end of the day, as a visitor, nothing is going to compel you more than people who are like me saying positive things about your product. Next thing Function does a killer job with is there's no way around it, design. Now, traditionally, people view web design as a nice to have, but in Function's case, they actually make it actionable. So, for example, the warm hues on their website are trustworthy. They make the visitor feel welcome. It's also premium. So these futuristic mockups, which are still trustworthy at the same time, are so nice, and they're actually real life UI of what their product looks like. So it kind of gives a viewer like this behind the scenes view into what the product looks like without actually using it. And of course, everything is on brand as well with their colors, these hues, and these little ridge elements they have in the background. Two final points on design: legible serif typography, premium, but also still legible and accessible at the same time. And the glue that holds all premium design together: consistency. Consistent colors, consistent fonts, consistent backgrounds, consistent textures across all pages on their website. Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Another thing they do well is that it's actually functional. It's not just a beautiful car with a beautiful exterior and you lift up the hood, it's actually got some marketing prowess behind it. Here's how I know that. And if we click into Function's homepage and we hit View Page Source, and we actually hit Command F and search for schema, we can see multi-level schema markup right here on the homepage. Basically links AI back to their core domain, their social profiles, their emails, their contact information, etc. Another killer marketing integration is a chatbot, and this is actually a non-annoying one. So it doesn't pop out like this on the user load. It actually stays here in the bottom right. And if you've heard us all, and if you've been on this channel before, you know that what cannot be measured cannot be improved. So if we open up Function here in an incognito browser, we will see that we get a cookie notification consent right here on the bottom right. Now, if I actually go to Inspect, and I go to Console, Network, and I hit Google, search, and then refresh the page, the only two scripts that are being loaded are fonts and CSS styles. There are no tracking analytics that happen before I opt into the cookie consent, which is not only compliant, but it keeps you out of trouble. So as you can tell, Function is doing a great job. But what are one to two things that they could improve? Because nothing's perfect, right? Something we're seeing perform very well and are also great fuel for AI search is competitor comparison pages. Function has a great section right here that talks about Function versus a standard checkup, but I already know that there are several other options aside from a standard checkup as well. So creating a CMS collection of these pages, Function versus all their competitors, is not only going to help buyers along their journey, it's also going to be great fuel in AI when they're comparing your brand against others. Small UX critique is right here in the navigation. This full page dropdown is a horizontal nav. I'm not a huge fan of these from an accessibility perspective because it is difficult for screen readers to read these. So for example, when you first load a website, hit refresh here, scroll to the top. When you hit tab, you should be able to bounce on all nav links in a horizontal fashion. It's really hard for screen readers to do that if the drop downs are hidden. So now I just landed on that menu and I'm technically clicking through the other links in the drop down without being able to see. So it's not a great UX, small critique there, but I always recommend drop downs be under one link in the top nav and straight down from there. Or if you do use a mega menu, make sure that it's clear and it's not hidden behind two horizontal lines that aren't really descriptive. So for example, if I were to click into this, I don't really know what's going to be there. I want to know before I click. One more thing they could do a little bit better is inject some FAQ schema into their money pages. So currently, they only have FAQs as kind of a master directory here, and it's not a great search experience. So ideally, you want to meet users where they are, rather than just saying, hey, FAQs, if you have any questions, just go to this laundry list long of a page. Also, FAQ schema is very powerful for search results and matching the questions that people are asking in AI to those specific pages where the FAQs live. Last critique of function is making pricing more accessible. Pricing is one of the first questions on our visitors' minds, so I always recommend either have the pricing here in the top navigation or somewhere on the homepage where it alludes to it. But right now it's kind of hidden right here in the footer. Is the only time it's internally linked right here. So I always recommend just making pricing upfront and clear. So then you're not putting forth the impression that you are hiding anything. Not saying that they are, but just making pricing more readily available. And last flex for function, they are built on Webflow. We are a Webflow professional agency that works with healthcare, and even with a $2.5 billion funded company like Function, Webflow is still a place where you can achieve this awesome balance of marketing capacity while also being premium and beautiful and aesthetically pleasing to earn your visitors' trust. It's really hard to find a combination or a platform that allows you to do both those at the same time. That's why we always recommend Webflow. This is the level that premium B2B healthcare websites should be aiming for, and Function has definitely earned their place at the top. If your website is not even within shouting distance of Function and you want another set of eyes on yours, shoot me an email. You can find that in the description. Or if you want to see how visible your healthcare site is in AI search, we're currently doing free AI search audits, and you can book one of those for a limited time in the description as well. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.